Let's do some math. The average fourth grader who consistently attends a church will only show up about 40 times in a given year. If you consider sickness, sports, holidays, and random family issues, at best, your church will only have about 40 hours to explain everything a child needs to know about God, the Bible, and the gospel. Now, that same fourth grader will spend an estimated 400 hours this year playing video games or watching TV. That's why you have to make the most of what you do this Sunday. And what you do this Sunday should be amplified throughout the rest of the week. One of the best ways you can increase your influence with the kid is to increase your influence with their parents. Whereas a church only has about 40 hours of potential influence with kids each year, the average parent or guardian has 3,000 hours of potential influence. Most parents will have a positive or negative influence in their own children's lives simply because of the amount of time they spend together. If we can engage every parent to do something more, even if it's a small action, we can radically increase our influence in a kid or teenager's life. Now, influencing every parent to do something more may sound ambitious, but we think something changes in culture of any church when leaders act like what happens at home matters more than what happens at church. It may seem impossible to actually get every parent to do something, but what if you tried anyway? You know, our experience has been that when leaders act like they can do something they can't, they will probably do more than they would have otherwise. The reverse is also true. When churches act like most parents will never do anything, then parents respond by not doing anything. Look, all I'm saying is don't give up on something that God has originally designed, even if it seems broken or dysfunctional. That's why you need to spend some time thinking about how you can influence any guardian, caregiver, or parent to engage in a better strategy for their family. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion that I hope will revolutionize the way you see parents. You know how things can appear one way until we take a closer look, and it's when we take a closer look that we see something different. Some parents may seem totally disengaged until we readjust our focus and discover that they are partnering with you just in a different way. We have to train ourselves how to look at parents and help them grow in their parenting. So what would happen if we decided to start seeing every parent inside your church, every parent outside your church, and every parent you come into contact with as a potential partner? To somehow create an image or a mindset that every time you interact with a parent in a restaurant or on a ball field or in the community or inside your church, that you would immediately begin to qualify how to help those parents become more aware or more involved or more engaged or more invested in the spiritual growth, the spiritual formation or moral formation of their own children. Well, to help you do that, we've created some levels so that you can begin to look at every parent through these 4 filters. First, realize that you are partners with aware parents who understand that they have a responsibility. These are parents who live in and around your church, but they may not attend your church. They may know about your church, but they probably don't know what your church is like inside the building. However, they all share one common interest with Christian parents, and that is they have kids. And they want to be better parents. They genuinely care about their families, and they are wide open to anything or any organization that will help their family life work better. Unfortunately, though, too many churches can become inwardly focused and gradually default to the needs of parents who are already inside the church. Secondly, realize that you are partners with involved parents who are active and busy. This level represents a host of parents whose lives are filled with various activities, many of whom attend your church. When involved parents are busy with church activities and programs, they feel like they are making or moving in a positive direction for their family relationship. These parents are connected to your church relationally and socially because of their involvement. As a church, though, we can tend to think that now, because they are attending our church, they were aware and now they're involved, that our job is done. But you realize it's not. Third, realize you are partners with invested parents who are devoted in their participation. The invested parent is a parent who grew up in the church. They're very proactively devoted to their time and energy to church activity, and they understand the strategy of your ministry. They're in community with other Christian parents. Maybe they're veteran Christians, or maybe they are just more determined, but they seem to really get it. However, as strange as it may seem to suggest this, you should never buy into the myth that your goal is to get every parent invested. Many leaders assume that their goal, their job, their mission is to somehow get every parent, wherever they are in the wide spectrum of parenting, to jump right into this invested level. And this can be an unhealthy expectation for both leaders and parents. I mean, after all, there's only a small percentage of parents who will ever really make it to the invested level. But consider this. What if in the best possible system, the 80-20 rule applies? What if in cases where churches are doing the best job possible, only about 20% of parents will actually step into an invested role? What that suggests is that the majority of your work is done with the 80% by getting them to grow and to take their next step in their relationship with God and each other. The focus of your effort as leaders should be to help those parents who are aware and involved to become engaged, which is our fourth level. To realize you are partners with engaged parents who are intentional about doing something. It's the idea of becoming a partner with parents exactly where they are, and you help them take their next step, no matter how small, in their potential to encourage an everyday faith in their children. You know, most parents just cannot do everything, but they can do something. And that something can make a huge difference in the life of a family and in the spiritual growth of a child. And it usually helps to think in terms of these levels of parenting because you realize as a leader that there will always be parents at every level. And your job is to make sure you understand parents outside and inside your church, and you help them simply move and take the next step. Let me ask you something. If one dad who hasn't been praying with his 10-year-old daughter starts praying with her, do you think that makes a difference? If one mom who hasn't connected with her teenage son convinces him that she really cares, does that make a difference? If one family who rarely discusses spiritual issues starts talking about God at dinner, even occasionally, do you think that makes a difference? Sure it does. In fact, it's more impacting than any leader or parent can imagine. In this month's e-single, we will discuss some practical ways to help parents move to the next level in their parenting. Never lose focus of the potential that every parent has to engage with their kids. Parents who are aware can become engaged parents. Parents who are involved can become engaged parents. Parents who are engaged can become more engaged. And parents who are more engaged may even become invested. Something fundamentally changes in our approach to ministry when we start believing that every parent can improve, and that even a little change in the rhythm of a family's time together can make a lasting impact on the heart of a child.